Fear is one of the most debilitating emotions that we face as human beings. And that's why today in our Rapid Fear Elimination Meditation, we're going to help you navigate through fear and bring it down from a 9 or 10 out of 10 down to like a 3 or 4 so that you can successfully navigate fear and raise your courage up simultaneously while dropping your fear. And guess what? Fear stands for false evidence appearing real, because fear is fictitious. It's only made up in 99% of the time, in 99% of the cases. You don't really have a saber-toothed tiger chasing you. You're not really going to face any serious challenges because of one negative social media comment, right? But at the end of the day, we get ourselves enraptured with fear when we wake up in the morning, our bank account is less than we thought it would be, when we get an unexpected bill, when something surprises us with our child at school or whatever, or we get a work surprise, a business surprise, or we get a little health scare. Whatever you're navigating, fear can be toxic and debilitating if it stays present and it cripples you into indecision. So today, I'm going to walk you through the process of basically getting connected to the fear, then recognizing that you are actually safe in the midst of the fear, and then moving through fear. And then on the other end, we're also going to help you connect with a version of you, an alter ego we'll call it, that is powerful and available to move through fear in a different way than the version of you that is showing up today. And I have two major alter egos that I often refer to. One is a guy named Weak Ass Willie. When I was in real estate and a few other ventures, I had a really rough season in 2017, 2018, 2019. I basically lost over $1 million in roughly an 18-month period. It was brutal. It was resetting, okay? It was so hard for me because I'd built up a decent little nest egg and I lost so much so fast, and it felt spiraling out of control. Well, guess what? For the next year or so, I was walking around basically with my tail between my legs. And a version of me that was showing up was filled with fear and shame. And that's a really debilitating path or a set of emotions to be leading your life path with, right? And as I moved through the fear, I found another powerful alter ego. His name is Magic Mike. Now, he's not a great dancer, despite his name, but he creates magic in the lives of those he serves, including you, hopefully today. What happens is I get connected to Magic Mike. When that version of me shows up, I am able to navigate the storms of life much more effectively. And before you stop and pivot to another video, bear in mind some of the top performers in the world have used the power of alter egos. Kobe Bryant had Black Mamba. Sasha Fierce is Beyonce's alter ego. And even you look at fictitious characters like Superman and Clark Kent, alter ego. And we find ourselves resonating with elements of that. So today, I'm going to guide you through the process of how to move through your fear somatically in some regards, but also psychologically, and then land you on the other side where you find connection to your powerful alter ego. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in so we can move through your fear rapidly and also align your body and your nervous system so that fear no longer can dictate or control your life. And I encourage you, before we dive in, save this video, like and subscribe, and share it with a friend that could use this as well. One of the great things that I see is as people soak their nervous system in a centered and calm and courageous basically state of mind and state of energy, guess what? Now their body is going to show up differently, and they've basically shortened the amount of time they stay in fear. Additionally, they've also reduced the amount of cortisol that is released in their body, and they've brought in other positive neurochemical cocktails or neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and oxytocin and serotonin, where you're in a calm, centered, collected, or confident state. And that's where we want to get to more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. And in this meditation, you're going to hear some music in the background that's also going to calm and center you as well. And listen to my voice over and over, and notice the cadence and the calmness and the inflections that are going to bring you down into a calm, centered state. So just trust the process and let me guide you into a powerful, aligned, and magnetic version of yourself so that fear has no choice but to subside and let courage rise above it. Let's go. So let's go ahead and dive in with a little bit of breath work. Close your eyes with me now and allow your eyes to gently close. I'm going to start with a 4-4-4-4 box breath method. And that basically means you're going to breathe in 4 seconds up, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, leave empty for 4 seconds, and you're going to repeat the process. And that just gets us out of our head and into our body. So let's go. So breathe in and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release for 4, 3, 2, 1. Leave empty for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in at 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release at 4, 3, 2, 1. Leave empty at 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Breathe in at 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release at 4, 3, 2, 1. Leave empty at 4, 3, 2, 1. And allow your body to just slide into a deeper state of relaxation and centeredness. And what we're going to do now is you're going to bring awareness to your breath. You're going to bring awareness to the feeling of your lungs expanding and contracting. And also notice how it feels in your chest as you're breathing in and out, in and out. Just notice the feeling of your body coming into a calmer, centered state. And then what I'm going to have you do, we're going to do a little imagination experiment, because this is a meditation. And in this meditation, we're going to find ourselves walking into a cafe. In this cafe, you're going to notice that there are 2 versions of you. One version represents your conscious mind, and the other version represents your subconscious mind or your nervous system. And you're going to notice that those 2 versions of you are sitting down at a table. You're going to sit down right next to them. First, you're going to turn to your conscious mind and express gratitude to that version of you for how they've guided, supported, and led. And then the second version, you're going to also express gratitude to your subconscious mind. Let him or her know you're so grateful for how they've shown up in your life and brought you to this moment. Then you're going to turn to your conscious mind, and you're going to let this version of you know it's safe for them to relax, to let go. He or she does not have to drive the show today. But let that version of you know that it's okay if they do need to drive for a moment. But then you're going to turn, after you've gotten agreement from your conscious mind, then you're going to turn to your subconscious mind, and you're going to let that version of you know it's time for them to lead and guide, and ask them to show you the way, to show you the fears, the anxieties, because anxiety and fear are very similar, and they're sisters or brothers. And you're going to walk over with the subconscious mind, the version of you that represents the subconscious mind. You're going to walk over to a big blank wall in this cafe. And on this big blank wall, you're going to ask your body to show you a worry or fear, because it's essentially the same thing, something that you're stressed about. It's all fear. See a memory pop up on the wall and show you what you are afraid of. See this memory pop up on the wall, and it looks like a YouTube thumbnail. What you're going to notice is this memory is going to pop up, and you're going to watch yourself in this memory or this thing that you are afraid of showing up, whether it's something in the future, like let's say you got to do some public speaking, or you have a date, or you have something happening, a circumstance, a presentation, whatever it may be, something that you are afraid of that is off in the future, whether it's in a few hours or a few days or a few months or a few years even, something that you are gripped with some fear around. Go ahead and watch yourself in this memory. Go ahead and see what you would see and notice what you notice. And what you're going to do now is you're going to ask this version of you. You're going to see this version of you in the video. And you're going to ask this version of you to pop out of the YouTube thumbnail and sit down next to you. And you're going to ask this version of you to share with you what he or she is afraid of. And hold space for that version of you. Let that version of you know it's safe for them to share. Safe for them to express whatever desires, whatever fears are in their body. And hold space for them as they share. And just acknowledge that it's okay. It's okay that they're afraid. As they share, ask them what else are they afraid of? What other fears are they navigating? What other moments in time are bringing anxiety or worry? And what you're going to notice is this version of you is beginning to relax as he or she shares their fears. Notice that you hold space for them and you validate their emotions. And keep asking until that version of you feels complete. And you might notice also where fear, this particular fear, is stored in their body. Is it in their chest? Is it in their stomach? Is it in their lungs, in their head, in their neck, in their shoulders? Whatever it may be, their pelvic region, whatever it is. Notice where the fear energy is stored. You can even ask them, what color is the fear in their body? You may know, in fact. But then once they feel complete, let them know that you got them, that you hear them, you see and recognize their fear, and it's a perfectly natural and normal human expression to navigate some fear. Ask them, is there anything else they would like to share? Hold space. After they've shared, then ask your spirit, let's call it, the spiritual essence of who you are. Ask your spiritual essence to speak to this version of you. This version of you that's gripped with fear. Speak with love and tenderness and truth to this version of you. So see your spiritual essence. It could be your eternal self in a way, speaking to this version of you with love and truth, where that version of you starts to relax and see that it's gonna be okay and that they are safe and they have what it takes. They can navigate and face this fear. So whisper into their ears, and if you want, put your arm around this version of you. Hold them until they relax as you whisper continually that they can let go and they can release. And that fear doesn't have to drive them anymore. Because notice that you're already starting to feel calmer, connected, and relieved when it comes to this particular event or emotion or memory. And then when that feels complete, you can ask this version of you that was in this little clip that is now sitting down with you. You can ask this version of you, what is his or her name? He or she may give you a name and they may not, and that's okay. Just see if your body will reveal a name and then note that name for later. And then if you get a name, then ask that version of you if they feel complete or if they have something more they would like to share. Then, if they do have something more they would like to share, then hold space and ask them again until they feel complete. And then ask them, are you ready to let go of driving my life? If you get a no, then what you ask is great, thank you. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to share? Or what else are you afraid of? Because it's funny, fear has a way of being afraid of letting go. And you can ask them again, what else are you afraid of letting go? What else do you want me to know, see, or understand? Because that means they're not complete. We got to get that version of you complete in its expression of sharing. And as a worry or fear that hasn't been resolved, that if it lets go, is not going to be processed. or not going to be properly taken care of. That's the fear. So we got to create a safe space for them to share. So now, once you've gotten this fear out, then let it know that you see and validate its concerns, that you will honor its desires to handle whatever it's afraid of. And then once you've gotten that complete, then what you can do, you're going to put your arm around this version of you. And you're going to see that this version of you and you teleport to a car on the side of the road. And this car is going to represent your old life. And as this version of you pops in the driver's seat, you're going to notice that you and this version of you drive along the road for a little while. But they've been driving this old fear-driven life for a while. And you ask them to pull over into a dealership. And it's a dealership of your choice. And you have an unlimited check in the glove box. So you grab this unlimited check. And you can walk into this dealership and buy any car you want. Again, this is just an imagination thought experiment. But it's really powerful. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk into this dealership and you're going to buy the vehicle of your choice, whatever that may be. And then you're going to notice that your spirit self, which is a self that is filled with courage, that has no fear, because it's a self that is filled with love. In the Bible, there's a verse that says, perfect love casts out all fear. Well, as you live in a state of love, there is no room for fear. So, you move forward and take this vehicle on a ride. And the version of you that was the old self driven by fear is now in the passenger seat. And you are in the driver's seat, your higher spirit self that is driven by faith and courage. And then you keep going and going for days, weeks, and months, because this version of you is going to drive and lead, that is driven by courage, that is driven by your higher spirit, that is not afraid of anything at the end of the day, because this version of you is available to you at all times. And you're going to ask your body, what is the name of the version of you that is representing your higher spirit self, the spiritual essence of you that is full of courage and life and love. And once you have that name, then ask this version of you if he or she is willing to lead and guide your life. And if they say yes, then great. If they hesitate, then ask them what are their concerns, what are their fears. And keep asking and probing until you get them all answered, and let them know you hear them and that you will work with them to make sure all things are satisfied appropriately. And then when you're done with that imagination experiment, you're going to teleport back in that cafe, and you're going to see this old version of you up on the wall, and you're going to see that this version of you turns black and white with no sound. And then you're going to walk away from this fear, this old fear that is much diminished and no longer has dominion over you. And you're going to walk to the next fear. And you're going to do a similar thing where you ask your body to show you a memory from the past or something from the future or present that you are navigating right now that brings or induces fear in your body. Go ahead and see this memory. Go ahead and watch yourself on the big screen there on the wall. And notice how your body and how your nervous system is reacting in that moment. And then what you're going to do is I want you to see the version of you that was in this particular memory, fear number 2. You're going to see this version of you pop out of the YouTube thumbnail and come into the room. And you're going to sit down with this version of you, and they may be afraid of you approaching them, but you're going to let them know that they are safe, that it is them from the future. It's a higher level version of them, a more mature, wise, seasoned version perhaps, or not. But you're going to walk over and you're going to invite this version of you to share what he or she was going through. Hold space, validate, let them know it's okay. And you would have felt the same way, navigating those difficult moments, whatever those moments were. And it's perfectly normal to have fear. And this version of you is going to feel seen, heard, and understood, and you're going to keep asking until they feel complete. But let's assume they feel complete with sharing. Then you're going to ask your higher spirit self, what is the version of you? What is the truth that they need to hear from you? And then speak that truth into their life. And then you can ask, what is the version of you that needs to show up for them to let go and relax? And your body will likely know. And the more connected you are to your body and your heart, the more likely you're to know. And if you don't have answers on some of these things, then you may not be as connected yet, but we will get there as well. Just trust the process and keep doing the exercises and making progress, because progress over perfection is our obsession. So, you're going to take a moment now. You're looking at this memory number 2, and you're going to be talking with the version of you that was in that memory. You're going to ask this version of you, do they have anything else they want to share with you? And then secondly, let your higher self speak into their heart, into their soul, the words and the wisdom that they need to hear to feel complete. And then speak those things. And then you're going to walk over. Once you have spoken those things, you're going to move a little bit closer to this version of you. Maybe you're already sitting down on the couch or the table, and you're going to put your arm around them and comfort them and let them know that they are safe and they are good and that you got them. After you are done with that, and they feel more relaxed, calm, and centered in your body or in their body, then you're going to teleport back to that vehicle on the side of the road that you had just bought, the other version of you had bought. And you're going to hop in the driver's seat. And this version of you that hops in the driver's seat is fear number 2, the second fear. All right? And ask this version of you, or ask your body, what is the name of the version of you that is driven by fear in this memory? What is his or her name? And just trust whatever comes up. If your body gives you a name, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Some people don't get names. And then see that version of you driving for a moment, and pretty quickly you both realize, hey, their time to drive your life is coming to an end. They don't need to. And then you bring them over to the side of the road. You ask them to pull over to the side of the road, your higher self does. And this version of you gladly and willingly pulls over to the side of the road and hops out and hops in the back seat. And then you teleport back into that room with fear number 2, popping back onto the wall, the YouTube thumbnail on the wall. You're going to turn it black and white with no sound. And you're going to notice that as you watch this clip one more time, the emotion and the intensity of the fear has dissipated, has fallen significantly. And then we're going to do one more memory. And this memory is a version of you that is courageous, faith-filled, and powerful. And we're going to get anchored to that version of you right now. So walk over to the complete opposite side of the room. What you're going to do is you're going to walk over and you're going to ask your body to show you a memory that represents something magnificent in your life, a memory that is a beautiful, powerful, courageous, magnificent moment that your body wants you to remember even more fully today. So walk over to that memory. See yourself in that memory from the future or the past that represents when you showed up with such courage, such heart, such joy, such power and presence, whatever it may be, such faith. See yourself in that memory. And see that version of you now. Pop out of the wall and come into the room and sit down with you at the table or the couch. And you're going to notice that this version of you has some wisdom to share with you, and ask that version of you to share what he or she wants you to know and see and understand about yourself right now. So go ahead and listen to this version of you. Hear what they would say. as they're sitting with you right there on the couch. And see yourself receive in their wisdom. See the walls drop, the barriers drop, so you can see, hear, feel, and understand. And you're ready to soften and receive. And then when that feels complete, ask them what else they would like you to know or understand right now. And then receive it. See their words of wisdom and love and truth soak into your nervous system like gospel, like the good news that it is. And as these truths sink into your body, into your nervous system, you can see yourself start to relax even more. And you're going to ask your body, what is the name of this version of you, this powerful, magnetic version of you that is filled with courage and faith versus fear? What is the name of this courageous, faith-filled version of you? And once you get the name, if you get the name, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Just visualize and connect with the version of you that is filled with powerful courage and faith. And then see this version of you. Put their arm around you. Speak some words of truth and love into your heart and soul. And then you and this version of you are going to teleport back to that vehicle on the side of the road that is your dream vehicle, that represents your life. And you're going to hop in the car. This version of you that is from the past or the future that represents your higher self is going to hop in the car and drive, while the other two versions of you are in the back seat. And you're going to notice how happy the other two versions are with this version of you driving. And they drive along. This version of you drives along for the road for a good while, days, weeks, and months, and even years ahead. And notice how good it does feel with this version of you leading and guiding the way. Doesn't that feel good? And then what you're going to do, you're going to teleport back in the room with that version of you, popping back on the wall, but stay in full color, HD, surround sound, and you're going to play this memory again of that courageous version of you from the future or the past, filled with faith, showing up again. Play that memory. See what you'd see, hear what you'd hear, feel what you'd feel, taste what you'd taste, and enjoy it. Have fun with it. Notice how magnificent it is to be that version of you. And then when you're done, you're going to walk out of this cafe. And you're going to start coming back to this present moment. But you're going to notice that your body is soaking in and ready to receive more calmness, more courage, more faith. And that this courageous version of you is available at all times. And if you got a name, you can call this version of you forth at any point just by saying their name. You can say, Magic Mike, time to drive my life, or whatever your version is, right? So, as you open your eyes, you can come back now. Whether you got a name or not, you can still say, hey, courageous version of me, time to go. Let's go. All right? So in the days, weeks, and months ahead, the more you soak in this version of you, the more you get present and connected to the courageous, loving, faith-filled version of you, guess what? The more the fear-driven version of you is going to fade. In fact, you got to feed what you want to live and starve what you want to die. So that's what I challenge you with, and what I leave you with in this moment is lean into the courageous, badass, amazing version of you that is ready to show up more and more in your life. So much love to you. Feel free to come back to this meditation again and again and share it with a friend that could use it as well. Have a beautiful day or evening wherever you're at in the world. Thank you.